So the slideshow is mostly just some fun pictures about Habitat and our families and the homes and volunteers. So I figured those are just fun to have running in the background while I kind of tell you a little bit. But first of all, I would just like to say thank you so much for inviting me to be here today. It's such a wonderful group, and it's amazing to know that you have over 250 members. So congratulations, that's fantastic. I'm not the biggest fan of reading from a script, but I find I tend to get a little off track. So it's best if I have it. But just, I can go on and on. There's so many wonderful things to say about Habitat, and so feel free to give me like a 5-minute warning so I can kind of wrap things up because I have so much to say. But first of all, I'll just start from the beginning. So Habitat for Humanity of Cape Cod, we were founded back in 1988. And we have since then built at least one home in every single town here on Cape Cod. We are our own affiliate. Each little area in Massachusetts and in every state and technically around the world has its own affiliate. So a lot of people ask me, like, oh, do you build homes in Plymouth? And we do, but it's not our affiliate who's doing it. It's one of the, I think that's the South Shore one. So they're everywhere, which is a wonderful thing. But we focus here on Cape Cod families. We have built 165 homes so far. Thank you. Back in the day, we would do, 1 or 2 a year. And our board decided a number of years ago that due to the housing crisis, especially here on the Cape, and the need for workforce housing, that we would beef that up as much as we possibly can. And so now we tend to build about 10 to 12 homes every year. I know, that's a lot of work. Thank you. And we currently, let's see, I think the last time I counted, I think we have 19 homes in one condition or another that we're currently building. We're wrapping up 6 homes in Harwich, 6 homes in Falmouth, and we just raised walls on 2 homes in Chatham, 4 more in Falmouth, and then later this fall we'll be doing 3 in Sandwich. So we've got a lot going on, but there's just such a need for it right now. One of the things that people tend to ask, how do I want to say this? There tends to be a misconception about how people become homeowners of a Habitat home. So I always like to talk a little bit about that. We have a long process so we open up applications. We, advertise everywhere possible, libraries, service centers, churches, anywhere to just get the word out when we know we're gonna start building homes. So for the Chatham, the 4 in Falmouth, and the 3 in Sandwich, we did that all as one big group. So the applicants were able to check off which of those towns they would prefer to move into. So with that, we had well over 100 people go through the application process. And it's like this. It is no different than you or I were going to a bank and we're going to be taking out a mortgage and all the paperwork that they have to do. We have an amazing group of volunteers who go through that stack for each person to make sure that all the different qualifications are there. The main qualification is you need to make 65% or less. It's usually 45 to 65% of the median income of Barnstable County. And so that changes every year. And so that's kind of the number one. And then they need to have income. They need to have jobs to show that they would be able to have and pay a mortgage. And they're always looking at your debt to income ratio as well. So they go through this long process. We've got an amazing group of volunteers who come in, go through the applications, make sure everything is there. If not, they reach out to them, say, oh, you're missing this piece of paper, just feel free to send it in. If the ones who make it from that and still qualify, we then send those out to a couple of local banks. They go through the whole proper credit application, but they just do it for free for us. Then people get through that process. And then we have another group of amazing volunteers who will go and meet with the families to see what their current living conditions truly are, who's truly living in that home, what's their situation, just to make sure, again, that it really is all on the up and up. And then from there, it kind of gets whittled down. And I apologize that I don't know what that final number was that went into the pot, but we literally have a little can. And everybody, you know, it's totally blind lottery. We have little, almost like bingo chips. And every applicant is assigned a letter and a number. And their letter and number goes on a chip, goes in a can. And whichever town we're building in, we usually have a representative from that town come and pull the chips out. And depending on what that family's need is, whether they need the 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom, or most towns, we usually also have to, what's the phrase I'm looking for? I just forgot the word I'm looking for. Sounds like it. I had it. Okay, just keep going. Okay, just keep going. Oh, it's gonna bug me. Sorry. Local preference. That's it. Yes. Okay. All right. Whew, feel better now. Okay. Local preference, meaning that they either live or work or their children go to school in that town. So they tend to get a preference first in being pulled from the bucket. Okay. Local preference. There we go. So from there, so this is like one of the best days ever in the office. We then tell those families who've now, their name's been drawn, we know that they're going to be getting a home. When we call them, we're like, oh, so sorry. Can you just stop by the office for there's one more piece of paper we need you to sign? We're so sorry. And they're like, oh, man. Because this is months of them. First of all, filling out the application can take months. And then, it's a few months for our volunteers to get to all this paperwork. So they're like, oh, really? One more piece of paper? And they come. And then we're like, surprise! And we have flowers and cake and and we do each one individually so they each get a special time. And it is so emotional. And the tears for both the families and us. And it was a really cool experience last summer because we just happened to have done the applications in the summertime. So the parents are coming by with their kids. Normally the kids are at school. And it was really fascinating to hear it from the kids' standpoint that they were getting a home. And there's one little girl, she had to have been 9 or 10. She was so excited. She just makes me laugh. I love seeing this kid. She was like, we're getting a home. This is so exciting. And we're trying to sit down with the mom and showing the mom the plans. Okay, this is what your house is going to look like. This is the front porch. And the little girl's like, we're going to have a front porch. I've never had one before. And we're like, oh. And then we're like, and this is something else that she was like, I've never had that before. And it's just like, oh, as an adult how it's going to impact you. But man, to see it from a kid's standpoint, it was powerful. And then the other neat thing in that particular situation, it was that mom was coming and had just been notified, and then another mom had come in, and so the first one had 2 girls, and then the second mom came in and she had 2 boys. So the moms are doing the business, signing paperwork and stuff, and the kids are kind of running around the office, and they were instantly making plans. They're like, oh, this is going to be my house, that'll be your house. We'll play this at my house, and then we'll go to your house, and we'll play this, and okay, well, you have a cat. Yeah, I'm allergic to cats, so we'll just keep doing this at my house then. But they're already making plans, and that's the beauty of it. One of the things that I love is that, especially, so this is Falmouth, the group that I'm telling you stories about, and it was really neat because for the first time ever, it's all single moms in this neighborhood of 10 homes that we're building. We've never had that before, but it's all single moms, most of them, and it's neat. A couple of them have older kids, like high school age, and then the most of them are either the toddlers or kind of that, 5th, 6th grade-ish age. So one of the wonderful things about Habitat is that the homeowners spend, instead of having to come up with the money for a down payment on a home, each adult who will be living in that house puts in 250 hours of sweat equity building their home alongside the volunteers. And so that's why, I mean, they're simple homes. They're 2- and 3-bedroom ranches. Every once in a while we do have a cape. Those are just more complicated for the volunteers to build, so we mostly do ranches. But we, you know, they have to have, we give them a year to build the home because we, you know, these families are working 2, 3, 4 jobs. Plus you've got young kids. I mean, just trying to find 250 hours in a year to build your own home is pretty amazing. So that's why it takes a little longer for us to build these homes, but it gives them time. Oh, my thing's on. But anyway, I get distracted, see. Sorry. But it's really fascinating because in that year, these families get to know each other. The kids get to know each other. And you already have this beautiful neighborhood. By the time everyone starts to move into their homes, they're all really good friends. They're supporting each other. And even with this group of single moms, okay, so here's what's really interesting. So the first 6 homes, because we're building 10 total in Falmouth in this sweet little neighborhood. So we started with 6 homes, and then now we're going to start building the other 4. Again, it was fascinating because the first 6, like I mentioned, were all single moms. And we were like, oh man, it'll be interesting how the other 4 end up being. We kind of joke, like, will it be like all single dads? And, you know, but it ended up being all single moms. So the whole neighborhood of 10 homes is single moms with kids of similar ages. And so, you know, it's they're fantastic. They're already like developing these relationships. They're already figuring out how they'll work, how get the kids off to school, how they can help each other. And just to have that camaraderie and to resource and not feel alone and to know you have wonderful supports is just huge. So I find the whole little Falmouth situation very fascinating, but I've gotten off topic a little bit. So I'm going to back it up for a second. So 250 hours of sweat equity instead of a down payment. They will end up buying these homes for about $180,000. It depends on if it's a 2- or 3-bedroom, but it's about $180,000. And they'll have a 30-year mortgage. And so it means that their mortgage payment will be about $700 to $800 a month, which is amazing compared to the thousands that they are spending on rent right now for just some of the homes that these families are living in is just, it's so not right that like landlords can get away with this. One of the things that we are very proud of at Habitat Cape Cod is we don't just build decent homes, but we're also we love our environment. Cape Cod is a very unique place. And there are a lot of people who feel there's like kind of like 2 worlds, and sometimes they're battling each other, and we're trying to prove to everybody that you don't have to battle. You can have affordable housing and you can take good care of our environment. And that's one of the things that we do. Our director of construction, this has been his baby for like the last 8 to 10 years, is really building green homes between the building products like the bamboo floor. And we now put solar panels on all of our homes. So that's a great, so the only utility that these homes have is electricity. And for the most part, they make more, the house makes more more energy than the house is using. So for the most part, they do not have any electric bills. And so can you imagine? Like, I'm always like, wow, I wish I didn't have an electric bill. That's fantastic. So, and we also install, I always get all these different terms wrong. So we have the heat pumps, we have air handlers. So there's a whole lot of components that go into these homes to make sure that they are the cleanest air, very environmentally friendly. And we're very proud of that. And we were actually just awarded, I'm just forgetting the name. Okay, it's all these acronyms, and I can never remember them. But there's this, United States organization called ResNet, But don't ask me what RSNET stands for, because I don't remember. But it has to do with residential energy efficiency. And Habitat Cape Cod received an award from this organization earlier this year because we have the best HERS ratings homes for all of Habitat in the United States. Yeah, so that's, yeah. So we're pretty proud, like little Cape Cod, and we're doing big things. And so now we have all these chapters from across the country calling us like, how did you do that? And we're like, you need to talk to Bob, because Bob's the man. So that's a little piece about the homes that we built. So to get back to my script, so we sell the homes for $180,000, but honestly, they probably cost us a little over $300,000 to build. And it gets worse in the last 2 years with the costs of housing materials, and even just getting the materials has been brutal. If anyone has tried to do any kind of remodeling on your home, I'm sure you've experienced that, especially shingles. Shingles are a big thing these days. So we sell the homes for $180,000, but we got to make up that difference. So that's my job, is I oversee the fundraising that we do with Habitat. And you know, we're so lucky to live in such a wonderful place that so many individuals are so caring and giving, and I'm so grateful for that. I also write a lot of grants. That's the least favorite part of my job. So I write a lot of grants. We do receive money from a lot of different local businesses, which I really appreciate. And we have a lot of great businesses as well who will either do their services or the goods that we're buying, they'll give it to us at a discount, which we really appreciate. There's one company, actually out of the Boston area, who donates all the granite countertops. Isn't that amazing? And it's not like they're just giving us like leftover pieces from other projects they've done. They have like 6 to 8 different ones, and the families get to pick what they want. So you really get to individualize their home. So the kitchen and the bathrooms have matching granite countertops. And then, oh, just blanked on his name. Fraser Construction. Fraser does all the roofs for us. They put those all on for free, which is fantastic. So there's a lot, and Shepley does a wonderful job, and Mid-Cape. So we've got lots of great partners here on the Cape, and I know I'm forgetting some, and I apologize for the ones I'm forgetting. But so it's a group effort. One of the other ways that we raise money is through fundraising events. So we just had our first golf tournament. We've been trying to do that for 2 years. Stupid COVID. So we just had our first golf tournament back in June at the Ridge Club, which was a huge success. And for our first golf tournament, we raised $88,000, which we're very excited about. So put it on your calendars. Thank you. Next June, anyone who golfs, we'd love to have you. And then our other big event we're having in September will be our 5th annual Ride for Homes, which is a cycling event. And there's something for everybody. There's the little 12-mile route, which is right on the canal. You can do the 20-mile route, which is partially on the canal, and then around Mashpee Island. Or for those adventurous kinds, you could do the 40-mile route, and you start in Bourne, and you go all the way to Woods Hole and back. So something for everyone, very family-friendly event. We love to get kids involved with our events. So that event is coming up in September 11th at Uptuxet Trading Post in Bourne. We're going to have a great big barbecue afterwards. You don't even have to ride if you don't want to. Just come for the barbecue. And so if you are interested at all in cycling, we do have our kickoff event. Today's Tuesday. Thursday at Cape Cod Beer at 4 o'clock, we're having a kickoff event to learn more about the ride and stuff. So feel free to come to that if you want to learn more, or just spread the word that that's happening. And we want it to be our biggest and best yet. Last year we raised just over $100,000 with 100 riders, so we're very grateful for that. And every year you just want to make it bigger and better. What else? How am I doing on time? Good? Okay. Like how many minutes left? 5? Okay. I'll wrap it up. Yes, and any questions? Yes. Okay. What else? Okay. Quickly, I'll skip through that stuff there. Okay, how to get involved, right? That's what we need. We have hundreds of volunteers who participate in one way or another for us. There's no way we could do what we do without volunteers like you. So volunteers, you can either come and work on the build sites. You can, I know you mentioned there was like a knitting group. If anyone likes to quilt, we give a quilt to every homeowner on the day that we turn over the keys and give them their home. We give a quilt for the adults, and we do a bookcase for each child. So that's a great project, the bookcase. If you know of any youth organizations that are looking to do some sort of volunteer work, we give them all the materials, and they just put it together. It comes in a little kit, and we tell them information about the child and what their interests are, and so they can decorate it and paint it however they want, or get some books to go on it. So there's lots of ways to get kids involved. I mentioned the quilt, working on the sites. Like I mentioned, there's all office work that has to be done. We're always looking for snacks. We build on Tuesdays and Saturdays. And again, it's just all volunteers except for usually the one staff person, our site supervisor. So we're always producing lots of snacks for our volunteers on Tuesdays and Saturdays. So if you ever want to sign up and do that, that's a wonderful thing. As well as at 10 o'clock on those days, we always stop for snack, and we do devotions as well. So that's a nice way to participate. And if you know people who would like to come and just read something or share a poem, or we're so welcoming to anyone and everyone. Yes, you look like you want to ask a question. Okay, sorry. Okay, thank you. It's so nice to be live with people and see, yes.
So from the minute you started, this has been such an amazing introduction about, story. How do you find open land?
That is our #1 challenge. So, truly. So that is our biggest challenge. We're at the mercy of working with each of the towns on the Cape. They usually are the ones that kind of present to us. They'll be like, okay, for whatever reason, there's this plot of land in town that's, kind of unbuildable to like a regular builder, but because we're 40B, we can have different rules and we can build in places others can't. So usually they come to us and they say, here's this lot, or they'll say, we want you to fill out an RFP for this. We generally get the money through the CPC funds from that town. So the CPC gives us the money and then we just give it right back. Or we are asking people if you have land and you're interested in donating it to us. There is a lady in Brewster who just did that. I think she had like a 2+ acre lot, and she kind of realized, you know what, it's just me and I have my home. This land could be used and help a couple other people. So we, through all the paperwork and whatnot, we're going to be building 2 homes on that property starting next year. So those are kind of the only 2 ways. I mean, there's only so much land.
Because you're also competing against 40B.
Yes.
How do you work that?
That's a really good question.
Your homes considered 40B?
They are considered affordable in perpetuity. Oh, thank you for saying that, because that reminds me. That's one thing. When our families buy their homes, there's a rider on the deed that home will stay as an affordable house in perpetuity. So even if in 99.9% of the time these families stay in their homes, people always ask me that. They're like, yeah, but why don't are they just going to sell their home 2 years from now and make money? And they don't. These people have put literal blood, sweat, and tears into these homes. For so many of them, their families have never owned homes before. This is they're so grateful. I actually had a quote I was going to read to you. Like one of the moms in Falmouth, she was saying how she's moved 9 times in the last 10 years. She's like, this is not the life I wanted for my son. This is not how I want. She's like, I want them to have roots and to grow. So our families aren't flipping these homes. They're not selling. We want them to do well in life. That's the whole purpose is, you know, so if someone, you know, ends up getting a great job and they have to move to North Carolina or something, then, you know, they sell the home. And so at that point when they are selling the home, it is sold at whatever the affordable housing rate is at that time. Yes?
Do you sell them furnished?
We do not. We do not. But we do give the homeowners a certain discount to our restores, both in Falmouth and in Yarmouth, and so they're able to go and buy furniture that they may need. And I have to say, the homeowners build such amazing relationships with the volunteers who are there for them, you know, for the whole year building their home. And the volunteers really do take these families under their wings, and a lot of them end up donating pieces of furniture that they may have in their home or something. So we really do work with the families to help them furnish their homes. Yes?
I'm thrilled to hear that there's a requirement to volunteer for the homeowners.
Yes.
I wonder if there's any volunteer requirements for the applicants.
No. Because you're an applicant, and then if you are chosen from the lottery to become a home builder, a home buyer, well, first you build, then you buy.
Is there any cost to apply?
No, nope. But we do have people who apply over and over again, because each time they learn something new about how to better their situation. Usually it's the debt to income ratio is really what the big issue is. A lot of them it's like severe credit card debt. And so our volunteers work with them and saying, okay, this is how you can fix this situation. So next time around when the application's open, you'll be in a better place for that. And a lot of people have been lucky enough to win the lottery on the third time. So actually, there was one of the couples, there was a picture there. They're in Harwich, and it was their third time applying, and then the husband had said, why are you bothering? Like, it's not going to happen, hon. Like, why are you doing this? And she kind of joked, and she was like, well, when we win, then you're going to live in the shed. But needless to say, they won, and they're two of the most fascinating people. They actually came here from Puerto Rico a number of years ago after, I forget which hurricane it was, it just devastated Puerto Rico, and they had moved to the United States. They were living, I think, in like the Virginia area. The husband came up here to get a job, like the Provincetown area. He's in the restaurant business. And then they have 3 kids, and it was just so hard living so far apart. They end up moving. The wife came up to here, but they were living in like a basement apartment up in P-Town with their 3 kids. Just so difficult and not what you want for your family. No one wants that. And a real neat quick story there is their 2 oldest kids go to Cape Tech School out in Harwich. And because we're building in Harwich, we engaged the students at Cape Tech. And so we used, because there's 6 homes. So of the 6, one of the homes we dedicated their electrical students, I know there's a better word I'm looking for there, but the electrical students and the plumbing students got to totally do all the work in one of those homes. So they got true real life experience. Not just, I mean, they have amazing facilities at that school, I have to say, but they were able to build in this home. Plus we got the carpentry students involved, and they built 2 sheds for us. One shed that we raffled off and raised over $20,000, which is fantastic. And then the other shed was donated to one of those homes in Harwich. So we're very proud of that relationship and hope to continue doing that. Yes?
How do you donate, like furniture to a family?
That's a really good question. Probably the best thing to do is to call our office and to speak with Mary Ann. She is I always forget what everybody's title is, but she's the one she's our family something or other coordinator. And she will know what families are in need of, and so she would be the best person to speak with. But in general, if you do have furniture that you're looking to donate, it's our restore is the best person to call, and we will come pick up whatever it is you have. We're usually about 2 weeks out right now and being able to pick that up. And we also have a brand new program, if anyone is doing any remodeling. We have a group of volunteers who will come to your home. If you are redoing your kitchen, they will come out to you. They will very gently remove the cabinets and countertops if they're still in good condition. They'll remove them for free, take them away, and then we sell them in the restore. And we just started that program, I think, in January, and we've already sold over $50,000 worth of cabinets that people have donated to us. So it's a great program. And again, it just keeps all this stuff out of the landfill, which is a big piece of what we believe in at Habitat as well. That's why we love our restores. We're keeping all of this furniture and other building supplies out of the landfills. Yes?
Telephone number on the back here?
Yes, it should be.
508?
Yep, 508. Yes. 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 What else? I'm sure there's like so much I can talk about, and obviously we have a limited amount of time, but I want to answer any other. Yes.
So I'm not even sure how to address this.
Okay.
But I'm going to try. So I'm a realtor.
Oh.
With Compass.
Yep.
I have so many current renters that need a place to live on the Cape. Everyone knows the articles, how tough it is to live down here. Does Habitat have anything to do with getting people settled in a rental, like a rent-to-own?
That's not a program we're doing right now. We really focus on building a home for, a permanent home, but we generally end up in those situations, especially like with all of our applicants, we refer them to HAC, because HAC usually is the organization here on the Cape that most has the, they just have that really good listings of all the different affordable housing rental places throughout the Cape. So that's your best option. HAC, H-A-C. They're based in Hyannis. Yes. That's it, Housing Assistance Corporation, yes. Yes, that's who I would definitely recommend, because they know where everything is and can help people. What else? You guys have had great questions. Yes?
What's the situation with property taxes on the 40Bs?
That's a really good, I just know that they do pay their taxes, and I believe it is the same rate that everybody else is. Yes, yep. Yep. Yeah.
They win the lottery, they move into this house. Is there a time fund they have to keep the homes?
It's theirs. Once they sign the mortgage, it's their home.
It's there to do whatever they want to sell it?
Yes. Yep.
Why wouldn't you keep that as a potential for somebody else that's in that same situation?
It is going to be.
Yes.
So if a homeowner decides they want to move and sell the place, they have to, I guess, speak with Habitat or somebody, and have to still sell it at an affordable rate.
Correct. Yes. Yep. But it's so.
There are requirements, and once in fact they do sell it or want to sell it, they keep it in that.
It stays in affordable housing in perpetuity. So whenever that moment is, whatever the rate is for affordable housing at that time is what the house will be sold for. We work with HAC on that situation. The homeowners are required to notify Habitat that that they're moving for one reason or another, and then we put them in touch with HAC, and HAC handles the selling of the home and handling that piece of it.
The people that have won the lottery to have this home, can they participate in the profit from the house being sold?
Yes, yes, but it's minimal. It's kind of like, not like right now, like if I was to sell my house, it's kind of crazy how much I could get for my house. Theirs wouldn't be that huge gap, because whatever the affordability rate is. So we're selling that home for 180. So 180 is sort of what that rate is right now for a 2 or 3 bedroom home. 10 years from now, I don't know what that would be, but they would make a little bit of money. But from what I understand, I've only been with Habitat for a couple years now, but those in my office who've been there a lot longer, we've only had one foreclosure in all of that time, and only a couple people have ever had to sell. And mostly it was because it's just like a big life change and they were moving somewhere. But for the most part, it's really neat. Right now, there are people who are paying off their mortgages. And in just this last month, we've had 3 different people reach out to us because they're like, I'm making my very last mortgage payment. Bless you. And they're just like, you know, and my life is this now, and I was able to do this for my kids because I had a reasonable mortgage. And you know, we're so grateful to Habitat for that. And they send us flowers, and they send us, you know, I'm like, oh. But so it's really neat in this time that we're in right now that there are some amazing people who, you know, and their homes are gorgeous. There's such pride in home ownership. These homes are gorgeous. What people do. Yes.
I was just wondering if Habitat provides credit counseling services or refers people to like money management class, or makes, you know, lets the client know you can get discounts on fuel, electricity, etc.
We do. Thank you for bringing that up. That's part of, we do have a bunch of workshops that the home buyers do go through during that year, as well as building their home. We have a financial planning one, so they learn how to be, you know, properly budgeting for all different expenses. There's a home ownership one, you know, just like basic things of how to take care of certain things around the house, because, you know, all of a sudden you own a home and you're like, oh man, now I'm responsible for fixing this? Like, how's that work? And there's another one. When we definitely do that. And then for the applicants, if they didn't make it for some reason, we do connect them for credit. Yeah, the word I'm looking for. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, we definitely give them lots of resources. Exactly, because that's what we want. We want everyone to succeed. So whether, even if they didn't make it in the lottery this time around, we want them to succeed the next time around, or just even just on their own. So that's always our goal. So thank you for reminding me of that.
Do you get any government funding at all?
We don't, no. And we don't receive any money from international either. The money, so in order to build the homes here in the Cape, we raise the money here on the Cape. And so we're grateful. We couldn't do it without everybody here in the Cape being as wonderful and generous as they are in helping us with our aggressive goals of building 10 to 12 homes a year. So.
Well, thank you. I didn't know much about this, so thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Absolutely. Sure. Oh. Yep, another one.
How long have you been with Habitat?
2 years. Yes. I started the day the world shut down. March 23rd, 2020. They're like, here's your laptop, that one there. They're like, go home. So it's a very strange time to start a new job, but I love it. So thank you so much for having me. I truly appreciate it. Thank you.